First, a cool story about one of the great portrait photographers of all time. His name is Platon, and he has shown a signature style in taking intimate shots of celebrities and entertainers, also political figures, including Muhammad Ali, Adele, Edward Snowden. He has photographed 6 American presidents, more than 30 covers for Time magazine, and then he started using his talents for a specific cause.
He's recently focused his work on human rights and created a nonprofit dedicated to celebrating leaders of civil rights around the world. His new book, The Defenders, is dedicated to those activists, and he joins us now. Good morning.
Hi, everybody. It's great to be with you.
Thank you for joining us. So first, we wanted to focus on the work that you've done. 15 years ago, you're approached by Human Rights Watch about Myanmar and the crisis going on in Myanmar. How did you approach that project? Because you've had such a variety in your portfolio. What was it like when you tried to approach that project?
Well, I'm used to photographing heroic people, people who are seen as successful, famous, all our idols. And I think Human Rights Watch told me that there's a problem right now that, that they have all this interesting, important data, but no one's really interested in it. How can we change the narrative? How can we focus on people as heroes? To me, anyone who fights for human rights is an absolute hero of our time. And if they're seen as heroic, they become heroes. So I think the new generation, the younger people today who will eventually be in power, we need to give them a guidebook as to how to be proper activists of our time. And my job is to provide a new set of cultural heroes that will inspire us all to be stronger, be kinder, to be more aware of each other's opinions, to be more respectful to each other. Goodness knows we need great leadership today.
In some of the examples we're looking at, you see some individuals, and then you also see some small groups, some larger groups. Lots of human rights activists out there. How did you connect with these specific ones for your book?
Well, I traveled around the world. I was in the Egyptian Revolution, and I saw the birth of a very delicate movement of democracy just emerging at that magical moment. I also traveled through Russia. I mean, I have worked with Putin, but now I'm embedded with the human rights movement in Russia that he's crushing. So I met amazing people from the old Soviet dissident times to the new generation of activists who fight for climate change, women's rights, fight against racism. Then I covered immigration in America. We always think all these problems are in other troubled regions around the world, but we have many problems within this country too. And as we gear up for the election, I think immigration is going to be one of the huge issues of our time that might even shape the next, presidential period. So I think, traveling around the world, meeting all these extraordinary people, if you treat them with respect and kindness, you earn their trust. I have an apple box that everyone sits on. I've been told it's more world leaders have sat on that apple box than any chair in history. So when someone who's a human rights defender sits on that box, you just see the empowerment grow out of their spirit, because now this is real democracy. They have the same platform to speak and share their ideas and express their humanity as the most famous, powerful people in the world. And it's such a great privilege for me to do that. So this new book, The Defenders, is actually a book about superhuman people who do extraordinary things, but they're ordinary people like us. They don't have superhuman powers. They do it in spite of their adversity. And I think we all want some heroes to believe in now. So I hope anyone who reads this book, their hearts will be lifted and inspired rather than made to feel, pessimistic and down about the future. I'm an incredible optimist, and I've seen the human condition at its finest. So it's a great privilege to do this.
I was curious also, we saw some really powerful portraits of Muhammad Ali, Adele. When you're approaching a celebrity, is it a different mindset for you, or is it still just trying to, show the soul of the person in that portrait? Edward Snowden we're looking at right now as well.
Yeah, I mean, all these people trusted me, and it's my duty to honor that trust and be respectful. I mean, I remember Muhammad Ali. I think it's the last portrait he ever did before he passed away. So he was very ill with Parkinson's. And I remember feeling very emotional. He's one of my all-time heroes. And I said to him, Muhammad, you are the greatest. Teach me to be great. How can my generation be as great as your generation had to be during the civil rights era? And he couldn't speak very well, so I had to get close to him, and he mumbled something in my ear, and he said, I have a confession to make. So I said, what is it? And he said, I wasn't as great as I said I was. Oh my God, that's the biggest confession I ever heard in my life.
That's right.
But then he turned to me and he said, you misunderstand me. I'll tell you what was great. And it wasn't me. It's that people saw themselves in my struggle, that people saw themselves in my story. And I realized if we can get people to see themselves in the stories that we share, then we have a chance of achieving greatness. But that greatness is never us personally. It's something much bigger called bridge building. So I care deeply about the divisions in our society, that by building bridges, we have to come back together and find some common ground. Because of our differences, not in spite of our differences. Our differences are a sign of a healthy society. But we have to learn that it's valuable to listen to another point of view. And bridge building, as Ali was telling me, is the most important part of that.
It's a wonderful message. And again, the book is called Platten, the Defenders, Heroes of the Global Fight for Human Rights. For more, there's the website there. You can find him on social media as well. There on Instagram, there's the handle @Platten. We really appreciate your time this morning. Thank you so much.
Thanks, guys. Great to see you.
Thank you.